both an autism mom and an autism adult, she brings a deeply personal perspective of her work to her work. She has helped over 370 plus autistic children develop their communication skills, health, and independence. Her focus on nutrition as a tool for brain development has led her to develop the autism diet, an approach to nutritional therapy for autism that emphasizes gut health and cognitive development. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. T.
Are we ready? Assalamu alaikum everyone. Can everybody hear me? Yes. Okay. So first of all, are we okay? Okay. So can you guys look at me, like turn a little bit? At the end, turn a little bit. Because this talk is about to change your life. And that of your child, okay? You paid a good amount of money to learn something new and some things that are gonna be really effective. So let's get on with it. I know you guys might be tired. You guys ate a lot of food, a little bit of, sleepiness going on.
We're ready to listen for our kids. We're never tired.
We are never tired. Okay, that's true. So who here has been researching until like 3 a.m. Googling, when will my child talk?
Me.
When will my child eat?
Yeah.
How will my child sleep?
Oh my God, never.
Why is she crying? What the heck did I do? Why is everything happening, right? Someone, I cannot remember, because first of all, when I'm a little nervous, I get to forget things, okay? So one of the speakers here said about a dua, about a verse that Allah never gives us more than the burden that we can, yeah? But how many of you felt like, yeah, I'm ready to take the burden, give me on? Anybody? No. Yeah? So we were thrown into all of these things, not having the right decisions, not having the right understanding, never being directed properly. How many of you went to your doctors asking for, give me something, why is my child not sleeping? He's waking until like 3 a.m. and then he's going back to school. In the morning I have to wake up and get him to school. I have my job, I have my career. How many of you stopped being a career woman the moment your child got a diagnosis?
Me.
Me too. I had a PhD. I still have, nobody took it away. I have a PhD. I was an assistant professor in my university, the youngest one who made it. Woo! As an autistic adult, it was a big deal for me. Okay? I grew up being told, you are dumb, you are retarded. It was that time, like I'm 37. Okay, at that time when I was younger, autism was not a whole household name. Nobody knew what that was. I have three siblings, not siblings, like cousins. I would say siblings because we all grew up very tightly knit. Southeast Asian families or, families, yeah, in general, like big families. Joint families, yeah. So I saw those, those cousins being ridiculed by their own parents, by the other siblings, by the other cousins, me too. And that broke my life, okay? So that was one of the reasons why when Muhammad was diagnosed and his condition got bad, severe, even more severe, I just could not wait because that was pandemic, nothing was happening. We are in Canada here. I got Muhammad on the wait list for a family doctor, and guess what? I'm here 5 years in Canada. 2 weeks ago, I got the letter finally from Health Connect, that there is a doctor available for my son. I was like, F you. Because by that time, I already resolved a lot of the issues he was having. Constipation, severe meltdowns, hitting himself. He didn't hit others, but he would throw his younger siblings from the crib. I could not go to the washroom to do my number 2 for a long time. I had to wait for my husband to come home and then I was living in a one-bedroom apartment, very small congested space, and I just could not, for hygiene purpose, bring both my kids in my loo. So I developed a lot of severe physical issues as I was waiting for that. Okay? So, what I'm gonna talk about today is the 5 pillars to autism success. And here's the coolest thing about this. You don't have to wait for anybody to give you permission. You don't have to wait for anybody to give you any money to do it or any other thing. It will be you who's gonna take that responsibility, and you are already doing so many things, right? You are already your teacher, your child's teacher, nurse, chauffeur, cook, everything, doctor even. Right. So let's give you the power and teach you how you can take care of yourself and your child. So first of all, what is autism success? Anybody here with the word autism recovery? Does anybody know the word autism recovery or have heard about it or have weird reaction to it? No? Or yes? Okay, good. So what is autism success? Even the word itself. What is autism success to you? Can anybody tell me? Any mom? Exactly. So in that sense, we all are in agreement. We all are in agreement, the teachers, the professionals, me included, even though I'm going to be the odd thumb sticking out. I was actually apprehensive. I was like, oh my gosh, everybody's talking about therapies and this and that, and I'm going to talk about something else. These people are going to throw nouns at me. Okay? Hopefully not, inshallah. So everyone got like a laminated sheet? Yeah? So the first one is for a QR code for you to download the slides, which goes with the presentation. It's just 12 slides, but it still has information to you which we could purchase, okay? The second one is a cool bonus for you guys. I have accumulated some of my best freebies, okay, which I usually give to only special attendees. So I do a lot of lives, I do a lot of webinars, okay? So people who attend those webinars and things, they get those things. The first one that you can get when you download the second QR is a picky eating guide. So anybody's child are picky eaters? Yeah? No? Back there. Your child eat everything?
No.
Okay. Good to know that. That is going to be helpful for you guys. Okay. So there is a picky eating guideline. The other thing is how to make healthy food tasty. Okay, it goes hand in hand with your picky eater. So a lot of the time when we eat, when we cook healthy foods, it tastes boring and bland, even to adults, right? So if my mom used to always say, if the food that you cook, you don't like it, your child ain't gonna like it, okay? So I had to learn ways to make healthy food taste yummy and still healthy, so that strategies will be there for you. I am also going to share the links to the top supplements, like multivitamin, good probiotics for gut health, which is only available to my high-level paid students for you guys today. Just because you attended, you are seeing me in person, it's like a gift from me, okay? So download them, take per use of them, okay? If you have any questions, we're going to be here, inshallah, to answer all of those things. So first of all, if there are so many teachers, doctors, so many informations going on, why aren't your child achieving autism success? Anybody? Somebody say something. Yes?
If the child is not healthy, if the gut is not okay,
Awesome.
nothing is going to work.
Awesome. Exactly. So because this is the first time I got an opportunity to actually communicate and commiserate with the professionals. So I would like to know from your perspective as a teacher as well. So do you have that understanding about the gut-brain connections and the importance of that health as the communication powerhouse? MashaAllah, very nice. So we are all in agreement, okay? So one of the reasons why your child is not achieving success is not because they don't have enough teachers. It's because they don't have enough good gut microbiome going on. Okay? That's one of the things, and there are other things that we're going to learn today, inshallah. So another thing that is lacking is the knowledge, the proper research. Anybody here who likes to do research? PubMed, scholars, Google Scholars. Don't you guys get confused? This, a study by Harvard says gut-brain connection doesn't exist. A study by University of Pennsylvania says it exists. The laymen, the people who are not scientists like me, will be like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Which one do I believe in? So you go to your doctor who got their educational degree 10, 15, 20 years ago, and I don't know if you guys know this, the book that they're learning from are 50 years older. It takes $8 billion and 8 years for one drug to come. So the research that you are reading today is actually 8 to 10 years old research. So when you go to a doctor who's not up to date, they're gonna be no, because I took my child to the biggest, child specialist I could afford. Yeah? And then she said, feed him anything, just keep him alive. That was the thing after about 90 or 95 days of waiting for the doctor. I was like, yes, finally the doctor is going to tell me how to feed my child, because he was very severely, not eating things. He was severely constipated, not sleeping, so many other things going on, okay? So that's another thing that's going on. The other thing is, how many of you have given up? Is there anybody here who have given up? No? Awesome! Big round of applause for everybody. Okay, so what are the 5 pillars? The first pillar is you as a mom, your physical health, emotional stability, and mental health. We talk about mental health a lot. But do you know the thoughts that you are feeling right now is connected to the beliefs that you have. Your beliefs are made when you were young by the parents, by the people around you. You can do this, you cannot do that. Certain things are available for you, certain things are not available for you. Yeah? So your beliefs creates your thoughts creates your feelings creates your actions, and your actions gives you result. Okay? So let's give an example. Your belief. Well, I'm not wealthy. I don't have $6 million in my account, so I cannot afford health food. I cannot afford good, doctors and whatnot. That's your belief. Okay? That belief is not going to keep you very, very, happy. So when you are not happy, you are depressed. When you are depressed, can you really take care of your household and your kids that well? No. And here's another thing that rarely gets spoken. You are made of atoms. Atoms vibrate. Frequencies based on emotions have frequency as well. Okay? And because your child has been inside of you, made up of you, whatever you feel, that child feels. Okay? So when you are upset or depressed, he is also depressed. How many of you see your child needing you more when you are sick or like really upset or angry? That is the time they're like, Mommy, I need you. Give me this, that. Yeah? That is because they are grounding through us. Okay? Until like about the age of 12 or 14, they are grounding, they're understanding themselves through us. Just because your child cannot talk does not mean he doesn't understand. And just because he doesn't understand social cues doesn't mean he doesn't understand mom's sadness, anger, depression. Okay? So that's why we have to work on the mother's mindset, because when her mindset is on point, she's gonna find the right solutions for her child. Okay? You're gonna find the right solution for your child. And I love, Ida, is that your name? I love it when she said that the right way of communication is more important than just bulldozing and ramming yourself into the system. Okay? So, a little example. When Muhammad was about 2.5, about 3, he went to a daycare. So he's on the spectrum, other kids are on the spectrum, the daycare is all inclusive. So there are spectrum kids, non-spectrum kids all together. So one day he comes home with a bite mark. Okay? Some kid bites him. So the next day I went to the teacher and asked her, like, what happened here? She was kind of offhand about it. Oh, some kid bites him. I was like, okay, some kid bites him, so where were you guys? We were around, but you cannot always take care of a child, like it happened like in a second. I was like, okay, so what sort of steps did you guys take? Oh, we couldn't do anything because the child who bites him was autistic and severe. So I was like, okay, so does that mean just because the child is autistic and severe, it gives him the permission to bite my child who is also on the spectrum? Oh, we cannot do anything about it. If you are bothered with it, you can keep your child at home. So I'm a new immigrant. When somebody says that to me, I'm like I don't know what to say, what to do, right? What is the best way? Because I agree with you that I cannot make them angry because my child is going through them. And I understand, even though I'm from Bangladesh, even though the teachers in Canada are 100 times better than the teachers I had, they are more patient, they are more understanding, they are more accommodating, but still they are humans. I cannot expect to antagonize someone and expect that she's going to be 100% accurate in taking care of my child, right? So what did I do? I sucked it up, and I had to understand ways to protect my child. So I was like, how can I protect my child? Because he cannot speak, and he cannot vouch for himself. So it got into my mind that I have to make him understand and him be his own protector, because I cannot protect him 24/7. Yeah? So that is when I started doing my own sort of research and going through it. So number one, as it was you. So your attitude determines the altitude, your child's altitude. Your attitude determines your child's altitude. Okay? And your attitude cannot be good if you are not feeling good inside. And if your child cannot speak, is severely autistic, severely struggling, you never feel good. I stopped buying new dress, getting makeup done, even celebrating Eid, because my child was autistic. Because he could not speak. If I give him new things, he would rarely understand what's going on there. He would not show reaction. I cut my hand one day, cutting a big fish, and my hand was really bleeding. He was just there. He was not even looking at me. And I was holding my hand and the blood was coming on, and that was when I was crying and I was telling him like, Baba, please look at me. Mama is hurt. Shouldn't you look at me? And he was in his own world. And that was another day that I was really, really upset with that autism thing, okay? All right. So I thought, because I was told autism is genetic, I thought, oh, because I am autistic, that's why my child is autistic. I have 3 kids. One of them is autistic. Don't you think if it was 100% genetic, then all 3 of them would have been autistic? How many of you here are autistic, by the way? Any autism adults here? No? Do you feel yourself? Do you feel you are on the spectrum?
We all got certain traits.
Yeah? Very rarely, actually. Very rarely. So if genetics is the answer, is the reason, then we all are autistic. Right? Your husband is also autistic, your in-laws are also autistic. Otherwise, the way it's going on, it has nothing to do with genetics. Because here's the thing. Okay, let's listen. Here's the thing. Because genes can get to express itself only with the right environmental condition. Okay? Alright? So there is a lot of symptoms and reasons why things going on, like your nutritional level, your stress, your gut microbiome when you conceive that child, when you were breastfeeding that child. Okay? And then after that, was there any traumatic event in your life? In the course of the last 5 years, I have spoken to over 1,000 parents one-to-one. Okay? So I would ask every single mom the same question. They would say, my son was perfect until the age of 18 months, and after that he started regressing. Or until 2 years, 22 months, something, okay? My child was fine until a something age, and then after that, things started going downhill. My first question would be, what happened at that age? Was there a big life change? A death? Health disorder? There has to be something. Nothing happens out of reason. There is always a specific reason for everything that happens to you or your child, or to us, okay? So stress, trauma, all of those things are affecting. That's why we have to work on our emotional health. Because also the other day I saw BBC did this program on how we pass our trauma to our kids. Okay? Just like we pass on diabetes to our kids, we pass on trauma to our kids. And our trauma is already residing inside of us if we haven't learned how to release those things. That is also something that we have to work on, okay? The other 4 pillars are for your child. The first one is for you because you are the horse or the jockey and your child is the other thing, okay? So for example, let's say your child is the horse and you are the jockey. If you have brain fog, if you haven't slept for more than 3 hours, if you haven't eaten a proper amount of protein for the last 5 years, 3, 4, whatever your child's age is, when he was diagnosed until now, you are not in the right mindset or, focus to be able to follow the other things. When you are exhausted and your belief says that nothing much can happen, when you are tired, do you order in or do you cook a very healthy meal for your child? Which one is easier? Ordering in is easier. And as human, our psychology, we are wired to choose what is easy. Okay? We are wired to choose what is easy. And a lot of the times people think it's actually easy for us to create awareness in others, to accept our child, to give them what they need. But actually the more easier thing, I don't know how many enemies I'm going to make by saying this. The easier thing, but I have to say this, the easiest thing is for you to take care of your child and make him have all of those powers to be able to sustain his life as a highly functioning, understanding, fully vocalizing, communicating child or adult. Anybody agrees with what I'm saying or not? And if you guys don't agree, I will just let go because there's no point in saying more, right? Okay? Guys, I am also on the spectrum. Do you know the percentage of neurodiverse people in the world? 1%. 1% of human population is neurodiverse, 99% is neurotypical. Do you guys think you can ram into the 99% and make sure that your child are getting 100% of everything? Ain't gonna happen. I'm sorry to say that. It's not gonna happen. You have to keep on waiting and waiting and waiting for the wait list for finally your child to get the support he needs. Okay? So for brain to function, it needs food. It needs nutrients, it needs neurotransmitters, okay? The reason why your child melts down every 5 minutes is because he does not have enough serotonin in his system. The reason why your child cannot go to sleep like you want him to is because he is not producing enough melatonin. The reason why your child is not showing expression is just let's say he's rolling up something, that is what he's doing for the whole 24 hours. He's not focusing on anything else. That is happening because he does not have enough dopamine. So when his dopamine says, oh, I like, partitioning the things, I'm gonna keep doing it because that's the only way I'm getting dopamine hit. Why do we guys, us adults, keep on scrolling Instagram? Because it gives us the dopamine hit. We are addicted to social media. Because when you scroll up, there's another new face, another new dress, another new something. I don't know what you guys are looking for. Okay? There is always that newness. We are addicted to newness. So your child is also addicted to something. You have to understand why that thing is happening, okay? So the second pillar is diet. We're going to talk a little bit on in a while. The third is detoxification. Diet is something that pretty much everybody knows. Anybody here knows about detoxification? No one?
Yes.
Very good. What do you know about detoxification? Who said yes?
I have known some of the treatment like detoxification.
Mashallah.
Through different supplement, how you can detoxify.
That sounds like a biomedical, right?
Yes,
Biomedical, okay. So, how do we detox? Everybody poops every day, right? Anybody here who does not poop every day? Then you should know how weird it feels. It feels heavy, it feels like you are angry. Yeah? Because your gut is backing up, right? So, pooping, peeing, then sweating are three of the most important ways that a body detoxifies toxins. And even if you don't understand or agree that you should go grain-free or gluten-free, but just for a minute, is Fruit Loops or whatever that thing's called, Fruit Loops, Cheetos, stuff that I don't know much because I don't eat and I don't have it in my home. My kids have started recently learning. Muhammad would come home and he was like, Mom, how could you never buy Cheetos? I was like, in my mind, who the fuck said that? And I was like, because it's not good, honey. Why? It tastes amazing. And I was like, no, Cheetos has red 40, which is going to destroy your brain. What does that mean? That means you're not going to be able to understand things, process things the way you are processing. You cannot be now the best student in your class. And if you are, as you are the best student in your class, you would not be able to, if I had given you Cheetos, like what is going on, right? So food, from pesticides in the Roundup, glyphosate, so many things going on in your food, right? Antibiotics in your meat, heavy metals in your water, air purifiers, so many things going on, like pollution. So when pollution comes into your body, they also create neurotoxins. Anybody understands the word neurotoxin? It's a toxin that affects nervous system. Okay? Have anybody seen what is the thing called? Addicted person. Did you see physically or in movies or like how does addicted people behave? When they don't get their fix, how do they behave? Aggressive, angry. Okay. The starch that your child is eating, the grains that your child is eating, has a substance called gliadin and gluten. If you are not giving gluten-free, then he's taking gluten, okay? So gluten and gliadin converts to gliadomorphine and gluteomorphine. And we all pretty much know what morphine is. It affects the brain. And plus, with that, if your child is getting cow or camel milk and things like that, there is casein. So if your child is not able to digest that, the casein is going to turn to casomorphin. How do I know your child is digesting it or not? How do you know your child is digesting the food that he's eating? If your child is eating properly, everything, without any fussing going on, if your child is sleeping properly, 10 to 12 hours a day, depending on the age, of course. If your child is having the focus, no hyperactivity, can understand you, you are saying, zip up your thing, and he's like zipping up and, yes, mommy, I'm ready. Yeah, all of those things are happening to your child. That means whatever you are feeding your child is okay for your child's gut, because he's digesting. In Ayurveda, there is a term, you are what you eat. Okay? You are what you eat. So yeah, the diet part obviously helps, but then also there has to be detoxification. A lot of you probably have tried some form of diet and started seeing a little bit of result, but then that result stopped. And then you started thinking, oh, diet doesn't work. Diet doesn't work. It works. But the thing is, it is one of the 5 pillars for your child. Okay? So we talked about the mindset, the diet. I will talk about the diet a little more at the end. The third one was detoxification. The fourth one is lifestyle. If your child is having gadgets, handheld gadgets, if your child is not jumping, sweating, playing outside, versus always sitting somewhere or just lying down somewhere and going through, stuff, or just playing his things, he's not having proper physiological reasoning of, balancing out the whole body. And then also what time your child sleeps, what time he wakes up, how does his routine goes on, all of those things falls under the category of lifestyle. Okay? The fifth one is need-based parenting. We all pretty much know something about need-based parenting because we are parenting need-based kids, right? So we know about it, but here's the thing. The first pillar, as in your mindset, your emotional stability, affects the last pillar, how you parent your child. Okay? The reason why, what's your name again, honey? Hamdan. The reason why she had the patience with that child who would be very aggressive with everybody else, including the mom, but not her, was because she had that energetic calmness inside of her. The child was listening to her because the child was energetically tuned into her frequency. Her frequency was very powerful, and that's why she was able to calm the child down versus the mom who could not calm the child down because she's, first of all, a single mom. And by the way, I was a single mom for 6 years. My husband is not here, he's my second guy, okay? So 3 kids onwards, what's happening is when you are a single mother, the world is even tougher. Those of us who have a husband, alhamdulillah. Because even if they don't do anything, work anything, there's still a signboard, and then their signboard is actually protecting you from the vultures of the society who preys on single moms. Okay? Like women who are alone. And there is the other thing. When a mother is single, she actually thinks herself, I am half, because she is half. She has to be the mother and the father. Don't you think she is working twice? That is how she did not have the self-regulation to be able to regulate that child that Hamdan was talking about. And that is why your mindset and mental health, and most importantly, emotional well-being and belief rewiring is so much more important, so that you could parent your child the proper way. Okay? If you don't have your own stability and calmness and beliefs, you cannot actually help your child really well. Okay? All right. So a few questions. Anybody here wants to know why picky eating happens and how to get rid of it for good? Yeah? Okay. So picky eating doesn't happen because your child is autistic. Mic drop. Yeah. Picky eating is not happening because your child is autistic. How many of you here loves every single thing everywhere, everybody's cooking? No? Do you prefer some restaurants over others? Do you prefer some food over others? Hell, you are picky. You are picky. You are picking which food you want to eat, which food you do not want to eat. Okay? So picky eating for autistic kid happens for this specific reason, and that's not why you were picky. Okay? So the specific reason is this: your child's gut has a lot of imbalances going on. There is the higher level of bad microbiome, smaller amount of good microbiome. If you don't believe me, just take $200. You already spent so much on your kids' rate. Just take $200 and do a GI mapping for your child. I will personally give you back the money if you can show your child does not have any imbalances in their gut. I have given you exactly, how to contact me. So you can come, even with the address, you can come to my home and you can say, Dr. T, here is the result of my child, give me my $200 back. I will give you back. Because I am in the business of actually showing you reality of what is happening inside of your child's body and brain and why your child is struggling. Because I don't like wishy-washy things or managing the problem. I'm sorry to say I'm a badass bitch. I'll always go to the root cause and solve that problem. Okay? So, pickiness is happening because your child has something called sensory issues. Anybody here understand the word sensory overload or sensory issues? Yeah? So sensory issues happen for a few reasons. Number one, because of the gut microbiome is not stable. It is creating a variety of neurotoxins which affects how the brain processes information. Information such as sound, light, taste, touch. Anybody's kid here who hates to keep on socks, dress, underwears, pants? Yeah? Because of sensory issues. Okay? Exactly. I had a student. I had a student whose kid would only wear diapers. Okay? She's in Canada. She would only wear diapers, the child, 6 years old. But after about 4 months of working with the 5 pillars, we started wearing all the dresses, going to the school properly, smiling at teachers and doing everything, okay? So what I'm teaching you guys is not just from 1 or 2 or 5 kids. I have seen this happen, alhamdulillah, for 370 plus times, okay? That's why I'm a little bit more confident on what I'm saying. So the gut imbalance, the toxins in the environment and the food and how he is processing those things, that goes into the brain. And there are for everything that you, adult, or your child does or need to do, there is a center in the brain, subhanAllah. There is a center for speech, there is a center for balance, for sensing information, sensory processing, for hearing, for understanding, every single thing. Even the body temperature, thermostasis, homeostasis of your child's body, there is a center there in the brain. So when there is neurotoxins in the brain affecting the sensory part of the brain that is supposed to understand, okay, this is butter chicken, it's nice. Not Cheetos, which tastes nice. So why is your child addicted to junk food? Because junk food does not have food. It has chemicals that has been created to get the cravings going on. Just like a junkie, just like a addicted person will. Okay? Sugar is 50 times more addictive than heroin. Anybody knows that? Sugar is 50 times more addictive than heroin. How many of you here have a sweet tooth? You junkie? Okay? So how can you reduce sensory issues in your child? The first thing that you have to do is going back to mindset. Okay? So, your mindset. All right, so since he is having this sensory issue towards this broccoli, and it has nothing to do with him being autistic, so you are giving yourself and him the responsibility, first of all. Otherwise, autism is getting all the responsibility. Just like the other child who bit my son, and he got away with it because he was autistic. Okay? So I'm not saying our child don't deserve understanding and love. Astaghfirullah, that's not the case. What I'm saying is more than often we blame autism for this issue, for that issue, for this is, oh, my life wouldn't have been like this if you were not autistic. Is it very easy to just stay calm and quiet from the beginning of the diagnosis until today? Wasn't there at least one time when you wanted to kill yourself? Or maybe run away? Or want to slash at your child, hit the child, smack the child, spank the child? I was beaten by my mother a lot, to the level it was torture. Why? Because even though I was verbal, I remained undiagnosed because I was serious. Like I said, when I was a younger child, the only thing parents would see is if is the child talking, then he's fine, she's fine. So I was talking, so I was fine. But because I was slower in understanding and I lost interest in studies and things like that, so she took the big responsibility in beating the shit out of me and teaching me how to study, memorize things. So I had a lot of memory issues as well. Okay, so those things did not help me. Obviously, it's not going to help your child. But if my mom had the understanding, after spending about $50,000 on trauma healing, on my severe post, so many things have happened to me, by the way, which gives me an understanding of a variety of human beings, of what's going on. Okay. One of the reasons, so Muhammad's first initial problems were not as severe. It was understandable and manageable. We don't usually take note or want to change anything until it is impossible to understand and accept or live with. Everybody has a tolerance level. So if your child does not exceed that tolerance level, you're going to be okay about it, by the way. Yeah? There is only a few portion of us who are helicopter parents. Helicopter parents means trying to judge every single percentage of every single thing that's going on. That is also a way that the mother is trying to protect the child. Okay. Alright. So the way you can overcome the way you can overcome sensory issues and pickiness is to first stop blaming autism. Okay? So if we stop giving autism the responsibility, what do? We take responsibility. So everybody after me, say it out loud. I know I'm the last speaker, you might be tired and whatnot, but I really want you to take something back home tonight. Okay? So say it out loud. I am 100% responsible 100% of the time. I am 100% responsible 100% of the time. So when I take responsibility for my action, for my life, nobody else is actually getting the opportunity to dictate my life, my child's life. Okay? Taking responsibility doesn't mean, let's say, oh, I am taking 100% responsibility. That means my husband doesn't have to take the responsibility of the child. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you are taking 100% responsibility of your side of the business. And alhamdulillah, when you keep your lane clean, the other person starts learning, okay, my lane is full of garbage, man, it's not looking good. Let me try to clean up a little bit. Because the other side of your lane is so freaking beautiful and clean and stable that your partner or people around you will bound to understand at some point. Okay? So to reduce the sensory issue, you also have to start, along with the mindset, the other thing that you have to do is start with the detox. Make sure that your child is pooping every single day in large quantities. If you sit on your toilet seat and you are not relieved within 2 to 4 minutes, you are constipated. If you sit on the toilet seat and not finish yourself up and feel like I have done my whole business, in 2 to 4 minutes you are constipated. Okay? So constipation is one of the number one way your child has the brain fog, the neurotoxins circulating, because it's not getting out of the system fast enough. So in the downloadable that I have given, so please do not forget to download, by the way. Okay, and the freebies, for the freebies you have to put your email address and then I will send you. Okay? Just put your email address for the freebie, the code, QR code is there, the second one, and then you will get all of these things. Okay? So when you go to my YouTube channel, I have created a lot of videos and in-depth tutorials on how to DIY detox at home. How to make sure your child is pooping regularly. How to make sure your child is peeing enough, letting go of the toxins well enough. So when a child joins my program, okay, when I start working with them, the first thing I do is not change the diet. So I have several programs, okay? The first one that I always talk about is the best one that I have is 670, which is like 6 months program. The first work that I do is I work with the mother with her releasing her of her immediate, I would say like hyper-focus, hyper-vigilance, or hypo-focus, hyper-vigilancy, okay? Because if you are on the hyper-focus, you're not gonna even listen to what I'm saying. If you are hypo-focused, you're gonna be like, okay, she looks probably good. Okay, I'm gonna be here and maybe do my thing. So either way, us over here, we can't say like, oh my God, she's not putting attention. No, you came here. That means you are freaking interested. You are freaking interested. The reason why you cannot put your attention from A until Z is because number one, the food you ate, because there was gluten here. Anybody who ate the spring roll and the samosa and the naan, that has gluten here. When you eat gluten or even rice in higher amount, you're gonna feel sleepy. And when your child eats a lot of those kind of food, his brain is also gonna be depressed. Okay? Also gonna be depressed. So we start with your mindset, then we do a little bit of detox, and then there is the other thing, strategy. Most of the time when you go online, you follow picky eating expert, picky eating whatever. So many people online, eh? Picky eating experts and whatnot. I have seen picky eating expert with 100,000 followers saying this. But this time I'm gonna really drop the mic. Ice cream as dinner is perfectly okay. Sufficient. That's what she said. And there were 3,000 something women sharing that shit. Because she wants to do that. Remember I said you follow, you do that thing that you find easy. So you are a tired mother. You haven't slept really well or taken a single break. I was asking one of the teachers here, when was the last time you took a girl's night out or your time for yourself? It's so hard. I could not imagine like 5 years ago, 4 years ago, or even 3 years ago. By the way, tomorrow I'm going on an all-expense paid trip to Mexico, Honolulu. And that is possible because my son is stable, he understands everything, he's easy to manage, and he's not gonna bother my husband. So my husband doesn't feel stressed or scared. On the contrary, both my son and my daughter started saying to everybody, please come to our home on Monday because it's a party. So my husband, she saw, and I'm like, hey mom, what are you saying? Why party? So the teacher said, oh, it's your birthday? No, my mommy is going to Mexico, so there will be a party at home. Okay? So the kind of life that you want is on the other side of you making the decisions. Okay, all right. I have. Okay. The last thing that I want to talk about is GAPS diet. How many of you are interested in GAPS diet? Yeah? Okay. Why, you guys are not interested for GAPS diet or any other diet or my diet? No? So, yeah, totally. How many have tried to do GAPS on your own and successfully did it? Anyone here? Oh, it took me 1 year. You did?
Yeah, but I have a question. What's a GAPS diet?
Cool.
Yeah, what's that?
So it's a diet by Dr. Natasha Campbell. She has worked on thousands of kids and it has been shown to give a pretty good amount of results. Okay?
I with my son for 6 months.
Yeah.
It's too hard as a mother to do that.
It is too hard as a mother. Even with my perfect mindset, it took me 1 year to even touch the book. I was so damn scared of touching the book. Going through the 6 stages. So here is the thing. A lot of the reason why GAPS is not really doable is because of the 6 stages of the soup-based diet that even adults cannot do. Yeah? So here, let's make it easy for you. The first thing that you have to do or understand is this. Like I said, your child's diet is just part of the puzzle. It's just part of the puzzle. When somebody wants to do the GAPS diet, they start it very nicely, but halfway through they kind of give up. There is a more percentage of people who gives up than who can keep on. Because at some point it gets really hard or your child does not want to eat any more soup. And because the diet itself is just one pillar, there has to be the detox going on. And sometimes when you start a new diet, you can see regression in your child. Did this happen to anybody's child? You try to change the diet, you try to give them more healthier food, but then regression started, so you got scared. So regressive behaviors and things like that happens when your child's body is not detoxing fast enough. So when you are changing the diet, what happens is the bad microbiome is not getting the food. So they are dying. When they are dying, they release stored toxins. When they release stored toxins, those toxins become neurotoxins for your child's brain. That we call die-off reaction. Okay? So to make GAPS easier, the first thing that you have to do is obviously understand that it's just a diet. Your child needs the other 4 pillars. You need the first pillar, your child needs the other 3 pillars along with the diet. Okay? Is that clear enough for everybody? Yeah? Another thing is grain-free is the most important part, and pretty much everybody here will hate me when I say grain-free because everything that is tasty is grain. You can make quinoa tasty. Quinoa is grain-free, by the way. You can make biryani with quinoa. And the reason why you might fail if you try it tonight is because your child have not understood the taste of that thing, pickiness, right? So the first thing that you have to do is focus if you are giving him enough probiotics. So probiotic-rich food, fermented food, probiotics in general. I have shared some, I'm gonna share some of the, top supplements and things that I use, only 3. By the way, I don't like over supplementing. I use only 3 supplements. The other 2 things that I use is medicine, which is Ayurvedic, okay? And apart from those 5 things, everything else is just strategy of teaching you how to get your child's body back to regular state. A healthy gut gives a healthy child, okay? When your child's gut is happy, he's gonna sleep better, be in good mood, and focus on school, not be hyperactive. And when the brain starts developing, that's when your child will start talking. Your child's speech is not gonna develop on its own unless the brain doesn't get really activated enough. Okay? Because when you send your child to therapies, what happens is the therapies are there for a few hours. But learning how to talk is a process that every child goes through from the moment they wake up until the moment they're going back to sleep. Because your child don't have the focus and the understanding part, that's why he or she is not understanding how to memorize and grasp the language. Kids learn from other kids and other human beings around them. There is something that I always say, your child is on the spectrum doesn't mean he came from Mars. He's still a human being. And human child learns through brain understanding and grasping information. And when the brain's neurons are connected well, they are gonna learn. They are gonna talk. They are gonna communicate. And they're not gonna run away. They're not gonna, get attentions in the wrong way. They're gonna socialize. They're gonna be happy. Every single thing that you dream for your child is possible by you taking full responsibility of that, okay? All right, any questions? Yes?
The three vitamins that you use.
So when the first one is a good probiotic. So I love doTERRA. doTERRA's PBS probiome that has like 13 different strains of probiotics, okay? 13 different strains and high quality. So another thing about probiotic is not all probiotics are made equal. A lot of the time when your child takes a probiotic, the stomach acid kills them. So it has to bypass it. And the information about the probiotics and whatnot, when you register, go to the QR code, okay? The first one is for the slides, and also my socials, my YouTube channel, my Instagram channel, everything is there. The second QR code is where you are gonna go and put your name and information, and you're gonna get it right away. Okay, I'm gonna build it, automated it, okay? You're gonna get it done. Anything else? Sorry, you wanted to ask me a question.
Okay, so you spoke about the constipation. I see most people in the spectrum have diarrhea. So are those kids really seen as one?
Okay. So diarrhea, my experience is actually the opposite. I see mostly constipation. But yes, diarrhea and constipation, they both go kind of hand in hand because they both are happening because of the gut microbiome imbalance, okay? So when there is a constipation, that means the child's body is retaining the food or the undigested product, okay? There is a lack of water, hydration. There is a lack of also the peristalsis motion, the motion that moves the poop out of the system. And also there is a lack of emotional support, because a lot of the time the kids are holding on to their emotions. They have learned not to show their as much as possible. A lot of the time, which a lot of the people say it's masking. Yeah, that's another term. And I was like, if I am learning how to regulate myself, why should I be saying that I'm masking? Doesn't that just mean that I am regulating myself? Okay. So what happens with diarrhea is there is a predominance of certain microbiome which is irritating the intestine. And when there is an irritation going on, the intestine wants to flush out all the toxins. And diarrhea, by the way, is your child's body or your body's first way of eliminating toxins. Okay? So when your child have like frequent diarrhea, that also tells me that the child's body wants to get rid of the toxins. But then there is also some imbalances that we have to work through, because the specific microbiome that is connected to constipation is not the same for diarrhea. Okay? So the treatment will be a little different for the child which has diarrhea versus the constipation. Okay? Anybody else has any questions? Organic?
I think the odds.
Oats. Okay. So I prefer GI mapping 100 times more than organic acid test or oats test, because your child's body or your body every single moment is going through a lot of biochemistry, and there are thousands of acids and minerals and biomarkers are being produced or disposed of. How many of them can you keep track of? And I like to simplify things, not overcomplicate. So I don't like oats test. I don't even advise oats test. You should do a GI mapping if you want to do things DIY. Do a GI mapping, and then you will see everything written over there. Which microbiome you have to change, what food you have to give, and all of those things will also read it there. Okay? Another test that you can do is, I love that one, is understanding food intolerance. So let's say you come to know which food your child is intolerant to, so that you can use that knowledge and aim yourself up to give the right diet for your child. Okay? Yes?
And how do you do the GI mapping test?
Okay.
Did you need a requisition from the doctor, or?
Well, yes, you will need that, but here's the thing. I have been trying to do that for my students and my, coaching students and whatnot. It's hard because like I said, I work with 55 different countries. There's Nigerians I work with Somali students as well. USA, UK, everywhere. It's a little hard to get the doctor to prescribe it. But there are some companies online that you can do it. And we are also, like my company, Autism Success Academy, we are bringing it on for our students. We are working with a company so that we can bypass the whole going to the doctor begging for a test.
So can we be your students? Can
Yeah.
we benefit?
Yes, you can be my student. You're so happy.
Okay, I'll send you an email.
Totally. Because when I was first working with my child and then trying to go to so many doctors, and I couldn't get the support, and I always felt helpless. And I hate feeling helpless. I hate feeling helpless. So the whole 5 pillars has been built by a mother who is a scientist, alhamdulillah. Yeah. Also a pharmacist, so I know the ins and outs of your, human body, anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, all of those things I have learned, I have taught. I have, reviewer, as in anybody wants to publish a paper, they have done their research, they send to us, who does review. We check if they have done the research properly or not. And you only get to become a reviewer when you do your own postdoctorate work, which I have done, which was on stress, how stress affects human body. Okay? I understand not all parents have a PhD. So obviously when you get stuck by the system, you feel extremely helpless. So that is the reason why we started working in the first place, to give that opportunity and power back to you from everybody else. Because I'm still an autism mom, and I'll always be an autism mom, and I always want independence for myself, my kid, and your kids.
Thank you.
One last question. You have a question? Yes?
This might be out of the topics that
No
you
worries.
mentioned, but since you like the root causes, I had a question about sound. It's not therapy, it's
Sound bath?
frequency.
Sound frequency?
And there seems to be a lot of divided opinions online about the use for autism.
Okay, okay. Good question, actually very good question. So here is the thing. When you put in the 5 pillars properly for the basics of your child inside to heal, after that you can go for the horse therapy, the sound therapy, all the other therapies. Because those therapies ain't gonna really work if your child's brain is starved. Yeah? Of nutrition, of neurotransmitters, of sleep. So that is why, I find when I go online, I have stopped actually checking other people's work. Totally stopped it, because when I see, I get angry. I start talking. Because I know that these things can only really work. I'm all about results. You want results, you come to me. Because I'm all about results. If I don't get results, then I am gonna give you your money back.
I love it.
Okay, sure. I took a lot of time, I guess.
No, it's
Oh,
beneficial.
you were
Thank
really
you
that
so much.
good. So, not a problem. We do have one more final speaker then. Once, just 5 minutes, and then we're gonna quickly wrap it up.
Hello everyone, nothing much to say after this wonderful presentation.